why does the American CIA search the world for monsters to slay? Why did it dislodge the popularly elected Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan 2 years ago and incarcerate him on a phony charge? And why did it just dislodge the president or prime minister of Bangladesh?
Well, let me clarify one point. In both the case of Pakistan and Bangladesh, I don't know what the CIA role was per se, but it was a U.S. government role, almost surely in Pakistan, and quite possibly in Bangladesh. So
Okay.
the face of this is actually the State Department in this case, the Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asia, Donald Lu, who is playing, it seems, in the region of South Asia, the role that Victoria Nuland used to play in regime change operations in Eastern Europe, Ukraine. And what that means is that there is a general pattern where the CIA is typically the lead, but not necessarily the lead, where the US government decides it doesn't like another government, so it will bring it down. Now, the US is just about the only country in the world that does this, but the US does it with such unbelievable frequency that it is essentially our modus operandi of foreign policy. Instead of diplomacy, instead of trying to find a means of coexistence, the US pursues what we call regime change. And it does this around the world, with the CIA playing a very frequent role, but other institutions as well. It can be State Department, it can be the Defense Department, it can be the National Endowment for Democracy, which is a so-called NGO fully funded by the U.S. government. But it all means that the U.S. is using supposedly deniable means to determine other countries' governments. Sometimes it's by fomenting a literal military coup, and sometimes by an assassination, sometimes by marching a president out of his office and onto a CIA unmarked airplane and flying him halfway around the world, as the United States did when it deposed the president of Haiti. In the case of Pakistan that I have written about, Imran Khan, the prime minister, was trying to maintain relations with Russia and China and the United States and saying, we don't want to take sides. This is the worst offense in the U.S. regime change playbook. If you're not with us, you're against us. And so the United States decided that Imran Khan had to go. And in this particular instance, Donald Lu, the Assistant Secretary of State for that region, for Pakistan, made his visit with the Pakistani ambassador and made threats that U.S. relations with Pakistan were in dire risk because of the prime minister, and the prime minister had to change. And if he was voted out of office by a vote of no confidence, then amends could be made by Pakistan. And this was relayed back by the Pakistani ambassador to Pakistan, and the machinery started to depose the prime minister, which happened the following month. And when the prime minister showed this document, because of course someone showed him what the United States was doing,
Right.
Then after he was deposed, he was charged with espionage for holding the document that showed that the United States had overthrown him. And he sits in jail today, by far the most popular politician in Pakistan. Even after he was thrown in jail and his party was outlawed, his supporters won an overwhelming victory at the ballot box. And then the military had to fake the vote count. And the United States said, yes, great results. And so